We are live. All right. Welcome to our 92nd episode of the iFilmmaker podcast. My name is Ariel Martinez. Mr. Saratelli is in a new location.
New location.
How you liking that, man?
Oh my gosh, I'm loving my new location here. I got a nice setup. You may have seen on my Instagram, I got 3 monitors now, which is amazing. You know that because I've just been so happy about that. Even just the last 5 minutes of us talking.
Do not stop looking up.
Oh my! I got so many things going on. I can see everything. I can monitor everything. It's really
so
nice.
awesome.
It's a lot of real estate, and it's really nice.
Did you get anything new, or did you just made some different arrangements with your gear?
Not the new. I guess the new monitor as the third monitor. I wouldn't really. I didn't have to buy it or anything. My mom actually had this sitting around. It's a 32-inch Samsung. It's nothing like crazy. It's not for color. It's not like an editing monitor or color monitor. It's just a TV that I'm using as a reference monitor, and it just gives me so much more room to work. So I'm loving it.
Nice. So I made a little bit of technical tweaks on my computer, on my Mac Pro, the tower here. I had to add one of those. I had to pick up an extra. What's it called? Tweaks on my computer.
That's my bad.
My goodness, it's the PCIe card, because I had to add more. Basically, I had to add more USB 3.0 connections to the actual computer itself. Because what I had going on here was like a mess. It's definitely not ideal. Like I had like 4 or 5 drives, external drives, just sitting on my desk, and they were going all to a USB hub.
Yeah, which slows it down.
Yeah, it definitely slows it down. So what I had to do was I had like 2 slots available for cards. So I went in and got a PCIe card, and it came with 4 3.0 USB connections. So I was able to add that. So that's pretty cool.
Nice.
Speed is much better. The transfer rate is much faster. And also I added, I noticed, not that I noticed, like I just never got around to it, but I had 2 empty hard drive slots inside the computer. So I went and I had an SSD lying around. So I just got like a bracket to install that, like an adapter. And the speed is so much faster. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get those 2 slots and just put like 1 terabyte SSDs in there. And that should be so much faster for editing. I just never got around to it. Just, it's one of those things. I always knew it was there. It's just one of those things I never looked into. But yeah, just minor upgrades for speed and efficiency.
There you go. Speed it up. Speed up the process.
Yeah.
There's a lot to do.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I want to talk real quick, just a few minutes, on this new announcement that is really, really interesting, that Red made.
Yes, sir.
And I want to read some features on this new camera. It's called the Red Gemini, and it's so interesting. The specs on this thing. So just to come out, this sensor has been out, right? But up until recently, they've only made this camera with this sensor literally for outer space use, for specific use. And it was meant to go and shoot in outer space, in extreme low light conditions. And the sensor has only ever been available for that purpose and for specific people. And now they have it out for the general public. Now they have it available to purchase. It's a crazy low light sensor. They even say that to shoot in regular lighting, like if you guys are watching this on YouTube, to shoot in lighting like this, you actually need ND filters, right?
Wow.
So that's how low light and sensitive. That's how sensitive the sensor is to light. So that's like the highlight feature of this camera.
So you think this is a specialty camera?
I definitely think so.
Yeah.
It seems that way. This is all according to Red, so Let me just read some quotes here from Mr. Jared himself, the president of Red Digital Cinema. So this says this is a super sensitive which is two stops more sensitive than the helium. It has big pixels, 5K, 96 frames per second. They basically said that they call the Gemini is a vampire, loves the dark, but you literally need to put NDs on it if you want to shoot if you want to shoot it in the light. This is not a normal product and is not in the Red stores or at red.com. And there's only 5 of them. This is Jared Land said this, the president of Red Digital Cinema. It also says, the Red Gemini 5K Super 35 sensor started out as an outer space sensor that offered exceptional low light performance, but we wanted more. So we spent the last few months adding a normal mode as well. Now you can shoot in day and shoot in
It has
the night.
dual sensitivity modes. Yeah, I wonder. I'm assuming that's the same as dual ISO on Panasonic cameras, right?
Maybe. Oh yeah, it seems that way. So they have some samples here at ISO 800 and ISO 3200.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that that's what they mean.
I'm surprised Panasonic didn't like trademark or whatever, patent that idea. I mean, it's. I remember. I actually went to a like talk, or I don't know what you call it, a little gathering, and that for the Panasonic VariCam, and they went over that, and they had some of their kind of, I don't want to call them scientists, but they're tech guys there, and they were explaining how that worked, the dual ISO. And it was actually really simple. I'm not going to be able to like regurgitate exactly how it worked, but I remember it being really simple, the idea of how it works. And it's like, why hasn't anyone else done this? And I even asked them afterwards, I was like, is this something only you guys can do? Why are there no other cameras out there? And they said, they're like, no, we didn't, anybody can do it. We really don't know why. We're going to just run with it. So here it is. I mean, this might be it.
I don't know if that's something that you'd be able to trademark, because
trademark's not the right word. I think patent is the word I'm looking for.
Right.
I don't know, man. I don't know why you could.
I don't know. Even that, like, for example, Canon has IS, Panasonic has EIS,
Sony has OS,
Tamron has VR.
Yeah, which
is all the same thing, really. Yep. I feel like that would be a loophole. But anyways,
sure.
I don't know how that works and stuff. I don't even want to get into that. But it's a very interesting camera. That's pretty cool that they have that. If you guys want to see more of this information, I'll be posting links to all this on the iFilmmaker podcast.com. You go over there and check that out. These are basically links to Cinema 5D, News Shooter, all this stuff. So that's pretty cool. Anyways, how is your work going? Like, I know you've been
dude,
how's that going?
So again, for anyone listening, I'm sorry, listening and not tuning in live right now. Yeah. It's 11:30 at night. We're just getting started on this. And I know we spoke right before we started. Neither one of us are done after this. We got to get into some edits, but
no.
I had an 11-hour day with my editor today, and on the film as well. I think he was here for 9 hours. So I had 2 projects going on. I had an editor doing something while I was editing the film that I'm working on. So, and that was a good 11 hours of my day. And now we're into this. So it just doesn't stop, dude.
It does not stop. I actually have to go into an edit myself as soon as we're done here. And, but yeah, so we have a couple of people joining us live. That's pretty cool. They're wishing us good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, where are you from?
No idea where they're from. Dhaka. No idea where they're from, but good morning to you, sir. This is actually a super late night for us.
Twisted Arc.
Twisted Arc Productions is
always here with us.
So, today I thought we would talk about something that it's so funny. I hired a shooter like not a year ago, but pretty long time ago, to do a shoot over in LA, and because I couldn't be there, I had another shoot somewhere else, and so I had to hire somebody, and I gotta say, I was highly, highly disappointed. And I kind of want to kind of go through that, what happened and how other people can avoid that,
Sure.
because I don't think I'll ever hire this person again. And it's just a huge disappointment. So today I kind of want to talk about that. Once again, I want to say hi to everybody that's joining us. These guys,
Switzerland.
they're loving
Love the beard.
they're loving your beard.
Yeah,
So
it's coming in, man. I don't have time to shave. That's the problem.
So for those of you that are not joining us live and listening to this podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, or Google Play, you guys are more than welcome to join us over on Facebook. I'm sorry, over on YouTube. Whenever we go live, and you can go over there, get subscribed, turn on that notification, and get notified every time we go live. As you can see, it is 11:30 at night. It's usually very kind of spontaneous when we go live, so we don't even know. We try to play it by ear. But if you guys want to stay in contact with us, you guys want to be a part of the conversation, maybe steer the conversation, ask your questions, and we will talk about that stuff. Go over to our YouTube channel at iFilmmaker and hit that subscribe button, and make sure that you stay on live with us. So there's that.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, so going back to this issue. So today I want to talk about how the easiest way that you could to never get hired again, basically.
Sure.
You know, so basically I got my client, they're requesting something, right? And so a product, and it's going to be featured at this event, and it's a really nice product. So we wanted a slick look to it. So anyways, we needed to hire somebody, and we were very specific. We want slider shots.
Okay.
Like slider. We I think in every single email we emailed back and forth, the word slider was mentioned, right? Okay. And like,
so are you saying slider just anything from like a 30-inch slider or like a Dana Dolly kind of slider?
It doesn't matter. Like,
okay, doesn't matter. Just slider shot.
Just a slider shot. Like, we need it smooth. We need it slick. That's what I'm going for. 30 frames per second. Get some 30 and 60 frames. I was very specific. And the guy swore up and down he has it. He's ready to go. I liked his work, by the way. And I'm like, okay. I mean, he seemed like he knew what he was talking about. And when I get the footage, I'm looking at it. And by the way, he shot on red, which is pretty cool. It's all handheld, like 100% of it. Not even a tripod. Everything.
Okay, so you weren't there.
I wasn't there.
Okay, I was like, how does this?
No, if I was there, I would shoot it myself.
Yeah. Okay, I thought you needed a second shooter.
No. The point of me hiring him was because I couldn't make it there. I had another shoot at the same time. So everything was handheld 100%. And as soon as I see the footage, I'm like, hey man, I told you I needed slider shots. So we were very specific with that. And he goes, yeah, man, I forgot I had left my slider at home that day. Dude, that does not fly. Like that is a huge problem. Like, to be honest with you, like we had already paid the guy. Everything in me was like to ask for the money back, but we're going to have to make it work. We're not going to hire somebody else to go and do it. The event passed. We don't have anything else. So
sure.
And here's what I want to say about this, because I don't want people to misunderstand what's like the message here. So we're specifically asking for a slider. If you don't have a slider, you need to be clear on that, because if your client is expecting slider shots, like we mentioned it so many times, slider shots, everybody knows what slider shots are. And that's not what you're giving. Don't ever expect to get hired again. It was like a blatant lie.
Well, let's get it right. He did have a slider, just forgot it, right? That's the problem here.
I don't think that makes it any better.
No, it makes it worse, I think.
Right. I mean, he could have texted me at the time, "Hey, I forgot my slide." Like, when did you figure out that you forgot your slider?
Yeah.
Really? Like, if you would have texted me right away, "Hey, I didn't bring my slider," I would have told him, "Go to your house and pick up your slider," you know?
Right. Call
Uh,
somebody to get you your slider. Like
get the
you
slider.
got to do
Like,
your
we
job.
we need that slider. Um, he didn't tell me anything after the shoot, nothing. He just delivered the footage as if the entire job was done, you know? And that's what I want to get to. Like, never, I can't trust that guy. Like, I can't ask him for something and him expect and me when you come to this in this industry, man, like you cannot risk things like that. Like I can never trust he would deliver what I ask him to deliver
Right.
again. You know, something as simple as a slider shot, you know, it's not nothing. It's not like I'm asking him for a crane shot. I'm asking him for a slider shot, you know? So here's what I want to say. So there's this thing in the industry where, especially if you're learning, right? And they'll tell you, if you don't know how to do something, always say yes. And then you have until the day of the shoot to learn how to do that. Now, there's obviously some, if it's almost impossible, then yeah, don't say you could do something if you can't absolutely do it. But what I'm talking about is, for example, green screening. If they ask you, do you know how to green screen? Because we want to do a green screen video, say yes. And then you better live on YouTube learning how to green screen and start practicing until the day of the shoot. That's what I would do. And that's what I've done. I've done that so many times.
Yeah.
This is not the same as that. I don't want people
fake it till you make it, right?
exactly. So I don't I don't want people to misunderstand what I'm saying here. Very, if they ask you, I don't know, do you know how to handle, do you know how to handle a boom? If you've never been a boom operator, there's really nothing to it, right? But still, you still kind of want to learn the basics, kind of know what you're doing. And if you're getting hired as a boom operator, learn how to handle a boom, start looking at YouTube videos. You can learn it until the day of the shoot comes. But this is something completely different. Like I can tell he was actually trying to fake slider shots with his hands, which is not going to go well. And so it was like so disappointing. My client was so disappointed at this. And I mean, it was one of those things where they were concerned about hiring. And I'm like, look, this guy seems like he knows what he's doing. I, sort of vouched for him. And, to me, and this is me, I'm the client for him, right? If it's the other way around, if a client that's paying me $10,000 to do a video and I don't deliver exactly what they're asking for, they're never going to hire me again. This kind of sort of falls in the same place. Like, I'm never going to hire this kid again because it's something as simple as getting
just not following directions. Literally, I mean,
it's literally like blatantly not following direction. And okay, again, he forgot it. He could have told me. He never said anything. Just tried to fake the slider shots. It's again the easiest way to not get hired. It's basically saying that you're going to do something and you don't deliver on that.
Yeah.
So that just left me with a really, really bad experience with that whole project. The funny thing is that I kind of try to stay away because I do a lot of work. This is actually for time, So I try to avoid that project as long as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And like a week and a half ago, they started asking me, "Hey, what about that one video that we sent that kid out to shoot?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I got that footage." But whatever, I put it together. I had to definitely go a different direction with it, but I kind of had to make it work. But it's just like, so look, if there's anything to take away from this episode, right? Do what you say. Not only do what you say you're gonna do what your client's asking you to do.
Yeah.
And if you absolutely know that you cannot deliver that, say something. Say something, because for sure they will never hire you again if you put yourself in that position where you just you basically, their hands are tied. Like they can't do anything else. Like they feel cheated. They feel cheated because they're not going to hire somebody else at that point. You know, they have to basically make do with what they have. So
yeah, I mean, that's just not following directions to me. That's odd. I don't. Yeah, I mean, that has to be the easiest way to not get hired again. So to go along with, I guess, the title of this episode, that I think that's number one for me. For me, one of the easiest ways for me not to hire you again is just, and not to work with somebody in general. I don't even want to say hire, just working with people. I had a recent job. I'm not gonna talk about which one or what it was, but there was one person that was difficult to work with, and I was like, man, if they hire me again, this company hires me again, I hope that I don't have to work with this person. I might turn it down, just because it's not. I don't like working with unpleasant people. So
there with you.
Just be nice, like be nice and be open to suggestions. And it's got to be on your end too. Like, it's got to go, it's a two-way street. But I had someone that was just, no, I need this. And it was no matter what the suggestion was or what else we had to accomplish within the video, it didn't matter to that person. It was just what they needed. And that wasn't necessarily me hiring somebody that's a shooter or hiring someone that's a boom operator. That was just somebody I was working with. But that works the same way if you are someone that's getting hired as any of those positions, right? If you come in and they say we need a slider shot, and you're like, no, I could do it by hand. It's like, no, dude, we said we need a slider shot. Please do the slider shot. Now, so I just don't like working with unpleasant people. That's my number. Again, if you're right, if someone didn't follow the instructions that I gave them and I can't deliver to the client what I needed, you're not getting hired again. But so maybe mine's number two, because even if they are unpleasant, they might still do a really good job.
Exactly. But at least they're upfront about it. You know what you're getting with them.
Yeah. So I personally would try to find somebody else that is more pleasant to work with that can do the job. But, so you're right. I guess this would be more number two. But for me, it was the same thing with baseball. And I've had this conversation with friends, and they would be like, you get a guy like Bryce Harper who seems like a pain in the butt sometimes, right? And it's like, is he worth the pain in the butt? And I think Bryce Harper is in a sense, but there are some guys I think that are too much of a pain that it's not worth their talent. They're a cancer in the locker room type thing, I don't like that.
James.
Hey, who knows, man?
I've heard rumors about LeBron James, and it's so funny. I was just watching the Heat game with some buddies of mine, and they were saying how he basically fired the head coach.
Oh yeah, I mean, that is basically what happened, right? I mean, when he wanted something done, the coach got fired. And so anyway, I mean, I don't want to speak on specific players in general, but I'm saying more so in general. I think that guys that are a problem, even if they're talented, are not worth it. I prefer someone that's a little less talented, that's pleasant to work with, and we can get you there. You know what I mean? That's just my preference. So that's for me one of the top ways to not get hired.
Every team that I've been a part of, that's always been a mentality. Like you don't want people that are going to contaminate your team.
I said I'm not going to talk specific people, but this is a topic very popular in my area. Is Odell Beckham?
Oh yeah,
is he worth it? Like, he is a pain in the butt. But
I can imagine.
So good.
I can imagine.
But now he's holding out for more. He's not getting back on the field until he has a long-term deal. I mean, we can get into sports, but But he's a guy like that, right? Is he worth the pain? And I've never been a big fan of his off-field attitude. Let's get into really
sports.
tough.
Let's get into sports.
Yeah, I'm not a fan either, and I'm a Giants fan, and he's so good. It's hard to say I wouldn't want him on the team, but
exactly.
Man, it might be better. I don't know.
I like people with good attitudes.
Me too. That's just the way I try to operate. So I like that in return, and so it works both in sports and I think in any industry, right? So that's again my way of not getting hired again, is to be a jerk, be unpleasant, be hard to work with. It's an easy way to get the boot.
So while we're on this topic, what are some other other ways to not get hired that you could think of? Like,
Mm.
so I was just thinking about one is communication,
Mm-hmm.
right? Uh, I've worked with people, and actually I'm currently in the middle of a project where I had to hire an animator to do an animation for a project. It's, you know, one of the FIU projects, and uh oftentimes this guy's like nowhere to be found. You
Mm.
know, so FIU's coming to me, he's like, hey, can we see the animation? And I'm going to the animator, which is fine, there's not a problem. But when he doesn't respond, and I'm talking doesn't respond for like 5-6 days,
He just ghosts you?
he just like, he's nowhere to be found.
That's not, that
So
that can't happen.
right. So this is another case where this is the first time I work with this guy. I found him online, and, you know, just like anybody else, like I hired him, and we're in the middle of a project, and he just disappears for like 5-6 days at a time. And if you see our chat, it's like, hey man, uh, it's well past Friday, so do you have that next draft? 2 days go by.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, did something happen to you, or I hope everything's okay? And I'm being polite, you know, I hope everything's okay. Like, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. You know, I don't know if something happened to him, you know, or if he's going through a crisis. So that's what, you know, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. And then I message him again. It's like, hey man, hope everything's okay. Looking forward to the next draft. You know, I'm being super polite, right? Yeah. And then he comes back and says, hey, I just got back from a trip, right? And all this stuff. And okay, I wish I would have known that, because we're in the middle of a project right now. So you can't, you know, when I go on a trip, every single one of my clients know, especially if we're in the middle of a project. It's just common courtesy, first of all. So, you know, this guy, and then he comes back, and he just got on a trip, and he was going to give me the next draft. As a matter of fact, he said, I will give you the next draft tomorrow. That was 2 days ago. I still don't have the draft. So there's two things there: communication and not keeping your word. That is a big problem. Again, I will not hire this guy again, because he might be good, but I can't trust that he's going to deliver on time. Mm-hmm. You know, and I got to admit, like, the quality that he's giving me is good, but it's not rare. Right. If that makes sense, you know, so I can find it anywhere else. So I just, you know, I happened to find this guy. He seemed very polite when we first started talking. He seemed, his work was up to par to what we were looking for. And we started, you know, working with him, and he just doesn't respond when I need him to respond, you know? I don't know if you had people like that.
Never that long. I mean, if someone's gone a day, that feels long to me. Like, did you try calling him? Yeah. After a day, like,
so we've spoken on Skype. We've spoken on the website where I found him, which was freelancer.com. Mm-hmm. We've spoken, and that's pretty much the only two platforms we've ever spoken on. I've tried contacting him on both of those platforms. He never responded. You don't
have his phone number.
I didn't have his phone number. So it's so funny, because this FIU, and I was trying to tell, like, look, I'm so sorry. Like, my animator, he's not here. Like, I have no idea. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah. And I was upfront with him. Like, I guess he did. And I'm showing them screenshots of me, like, look, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah. And he just never responded. It's just one of those things where
I don't think I've ever hired someone without talking to them.
Right.
Just to hear them. I like to hear people, you know, hear their charisma, hear their character. Just, yeah, dude, I gotta hear you talk about your job. Like, I want to hear you. You gotta hear it in your voice.
Let me listen to you.
That sounds creepy. That sounds good. Now you're making me feel weird, but it's true. I do. I like to hear.
No, I know. I know exactly what you mean. But we did have a Skype session though.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's right. So you actually saw him and talked to him.
Yeah. I spoke to him, not with his number, but it was a Skype session. I saw him face to face, and we were talking.
No, that's good. Yeah.
And that he had a great attitude. But yeah, it wasn't through his phone number, so that's why I didn't have that. It's not
like you paid him up front, right? So it's not like he's like,
I got my money. Yeah, the way freelancer works is you do pay up front, but not him. You pay.
It's like an escrow,
right? So a freelancer holds the money for you, and you release it when you tell freelancer to release it. So it's safe.
Nice.
So yeah, we'll see. Like, well, I'm sure we'll finish the project, but it's just one of those things where I want to be able to rely on the people that I work with.
Yeah.
And being unreliable is a big no-no. It's a big no-no because I mean, it's a job, man. It's a job. You're expected to at least have a some sort of communication with the person that you're working with.
I just recently, so I have an editor on staff per se right now for 2 weeks. And this is the longest I've hired someone for it's actually not for one project. I usually just hire people for a project. And whether that's a day of shooting, a 2 or 3 day edit, like usually I just hire people per project. But I have so much going on that I was like, I need to bring an editor in for a couple of weeks to just help me catch up. And this guy was this kid, I should say, I guess kid compared to me, he's 26. And he was a recommendation through the film I'm doing. He was actually he was like a grip. He was kind of the go-to guy. He was a PA, grip, whatever they needed, second camera operator. He kind of does it all. And you know, I only knew him through meeting him once because I shot it behind the scenes of this film. And then of course, through the director of the film who I'm working with for this edit, he recommended him, which was great because, you know, it's somebody that knows somebody. You know, that's always one of the better ways to go. You know, I'm not saying online's a bad way to go, but it was nice that it was a recommendation and I got to talk to him, and he finally came in yesterday for the first time on time, here the full amount of time, like very communicative, if that's a word, like letting me know. Yeah. Put the emphasis on the wrong syllable there. He said he had to do something. He booked another shoot Thursday night, and he's like, could I leave a little bit early, but I'm willing to come early, like just on top of it. Like, just, you know what I mean? Everything we're saying that you shouldn't do, he's doing it right. You know, he's communicating, he's punctual, he's working hard, he's a nice guy. And he's good, man. He's good. He pounded out my first edit in 2 days that I needed done, and it looks great. So we got a draft over to the client. I'm really happy with it. So, but that's not easy to come by. Like you're saying, you just don't know who you can trust. And it really is just trial and error. I mean, there's no right or wrong way to get that done. Hiring is hard.
Yeah.
Hiring's hard. I was actually just watching, I don't know if you watch Gary Vee at all.
No.
I put him on time to time when I'm just sitting around because he's easy to listen to. Sorry about that. He's easy to listen to while I'm doing things. I don't have to watch him, you know? So I'll throw on some of his rants once in a while. And he said, the best way to learn how to, I forget how he worded it, but he said, it's not easy to hire. You don't have to be good at hiring. You have to be good at firing. And it's like, you have to hire people because you just don't know who's going to be good, but you can't be scared to pull the trigger quick to get rid of them, because the longer they go not doing a good job, you're screwed.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, hiring is just a hard thing to do, and you're not always going to nail it and get the best person. And you just got to kind of be optimistic and give people chances that you get a good feeling from, and hopefully it works out. If not, you got to get rid of them quick, in a sense. That's what he was saying. So I thought that was very interesting, because just like we're talking about, it's hard to find good, reliable people. It just is.
Yeah, I think that I think that's correct. I think that there are people out there that can get the job done and can do a good job at it.
Yeah.
But it's more their, like you said, the charisma, the character, the way they work. Are they pleasant to work with? I think that's more the case. So I've been having a little quick chat with Mr. Dean Christie.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it's
I'm trying to catch up. Yeah.
Yeah. So he said, I had a guy stop hiring me. He had me take pictures at a dealership for an event that they didn't advertise and no one showed up for. I was there for 3 hours plus an hour for travel.
That's one of two. That's not a half symbol. So there's a second message.
Oh,
it continues.
Right. And it says he asked for me to cut him a break on the invoice and just charged him $50. He never contacted me again. Um, So I've never, and this is where I started asking him. I hope I think it's a him. Do
Yeah.
you know if there was more work to be done? Because I've been hired only one time by clients. That's not even a thing. It's sometimes you'll get hired one time and never again. But I think for the most part are usually clients that are out of town and they just happen to be doing a shoot in Miami
Yep.
for whatever reason. And there have been times where I've been hired by in-town clients and have not done work with them ever again. But I think
Have they even done other work?
right. So that's what it is. Like again, I give everybody the benefit of the doubt, but at the end of the day, at the end of each one of my projects, I make sure that my clients are satisfied, that they're happy. And I personally ask them, like, I hope that you're happy with the work. Is there anything else that you would like, and things like that. Like customer satisfaction is a big thing,
Yeah.
even for freelancers. And so, and there have been some clients, and this could also be the case. There have been clients where they've hired me, they loved my work, I gave it to them, they paid me, and I feel like they were sore about that. I guess they didn't expect it to be that much. So that's probably why they never hired me again, because it's like too expensive.
Yeah.
Which is okay. It's fine. And again, I've been hired and they actually try to negotiate the price. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'll either send them to somebody else, I'll refer them to somebody else. Again, customer satisfaction.
Mm-hmm.
I'll try to help them find somebody else to work with if their rate is, if their budget is just too low.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll just work with them, and if I'm not doing anything else, if I don't have to edit and whatnot, I'll accept jobs for lower pay.
Sure.
If I'm not doing much, anyways. So those are also cases that could happen. So that's why I started asking Dean Christie here if the client had more work to be done. And then he also continued on and said,
Thanks,
it was
Bobby Hicks. Bobby Hicks says my beard is getting epic. Never shave, man. Love that.
I think so too, man. I agree. I agree with Bobby.
everyone listening better get on our YouTube and subscribe so you can see this beard. Or head over to any of my social medias at Jersey Filmmaker.
Get yourself a plug in there.
I plug it like you never plug me. I don't know what I'm doing.
It's so funny because I can't grow a beard. I mean, I could, but it's so patchy. So I'm like, let me just save the embarrassment. Not yet. It's funny because my dad grows a freaking epic beard.
Yeah.
My dad grows a really good beard.
Mine just comes in like it's like red and gray.
I think I'm just a late bloomer. I'm a late bloomer.
Yeah, you give it another 20 years.
Later, yeah, 20 years. later on, my beard will probably be nicer. Yeah.
I was just thinking of I just derailed the conversation, Bobby.
That's what the live chat is for.
Let me get back to that. I was thinking, and this is not, I wouldn't say, I guess this is an easy way to not get hired again. And this actually happened to me, but for good reason on my part. I took a job for less than I was. I was undervalued at that time. No, yeah. I shouldn't say that. It was at a time that I needed just to take jobs.
Yeah.
And eventually they kept rehiring me for that price. And eventually I was like, this is taking way too much time for what I'm getting paid. And I had to up my price. I upped my price and I didn't get hired again. So that's one way to stop getting hired. I had to doubled my price, but like stuff had just taken off for me. So that thankfully for me, that's just how it worked out.
Yeah.
And it was more, it was like, 10, 12, 14-hour days for like 300 a day type thing. And it was all on the computer, which I can't, like all motion graphics, animation, which I can do, but I hate sitting in front of a computer that long, just like with editing. So I like to be out there. So it just got to the point where I was like, for me, this to be worth it to me, I need to like double this at least. Yeah, and I did, and I didn't get hired again. So.
Yeah, there has definitely been times where I gave a client a break the first time, and And sometimes it's my fault because I didn't make this clear, and sometimes I made it clear to them where I'll give you this price this one time, and maybe next time I'll go back to my normal rate. But there have been times where I haven't even mentioned that, and that it was my fault. But I have done the same exact thing. I've given a client a break the very first time we get hired. We work together, and then they come back to me and they kept wanting work at that same rate. And unfortunately, I had to tell them that it's definitely not that same rate. Sometimes they've said, okay, well, we can't afford that. So we both went our own ways, our own separate ways. And sometimes they have accepted it, but they were sore about it. Right.
Right.
So I work the same exact way. I make sure that they're happy. Price aside, I make sure that they're satisfied with the work that I provide for them, and nothing really changes. Like I really put some time and effort into their projects, and if they're happy with it, that's really what matters, and whether or not they're sore about the price. I mean, the price is the price. And, you have to get to a point, obviously, only you can make that decision. It seems like you've made decisions like that. I've made decisions like that. At some point, especially if you're starting off, you're going to grow.
Yeah.
You're going to have to start upping your price, and
we've talked about, I think we've done an episode about that. It's not an easy thing to do, price yourself. And especially when you're getting started, it's actually super hard.
Yeah.
But it's just something that over time you start getting comfortable with because you start getting more work. And eventually you're just like, you know what? This is not worth it. It literally becomes not worth it because takes up so much time and you can't get to the projects you want to get to and the money you want to get to. And there's just a time where you take a step forward. So yeah, you can not get rehired. Get back on this topic, that's a way to not get hired again. But I mean, I guess that's a good reason, right?
Yeah. And if you never heard those episodes, if you want to hear what we charge and all that stuff, I just looked it up. These are episodes number 59 and 60. Nice. So episodes 59 and 60, we both talk about our prices, our rates, how we go about giving our prices to our clients, when we go up, when we go down. All that stuff is on those two episodes 59 and 60 on the iFilmmaker podcast, just to make sure you guys are aware of that. So I don't know if there's any way else to not get hired.
I'm sure there's
a ton.
There's lots of ways, but
there are so many ways you can not get hired. But yeah,
we nailed some good ones though.
Yeah, I think those are really good to start off. Those are great basic ones.
Yeah.
I'm hesitant to say this, but I want to say that it's almost common sense, right? You would think.
Sure.
You would think, but I think there are other ones that are way more common sense than those. I think these are just good, basic, general ones. But yeah, I mean, I'm
trying to read this. Dean Christie, I haven't even read the full question yet, so we'll see. What's a way you can build value in your services to potential clients? How do you upsell your clients? Way to build value. Yeah, what do you type what you mean more so by upsell, but I'll answer the first part of it. What's a way that you build value in your services to potential clients? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so there's a couple things that I kind of consider when I go up in my price. One of them is the obvious one. Is your equipment. The equipment that you're using. I mean, you're not going to charge the same thing for shooting on a RED and shooting on regular DSLR.
Sure.
It's just, I mean, it costs money. There's value in that. But at the same time, your knowledge, your experience in the industry plays a huge role. I think more so than your gear.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I don't think that I would make a lot. So here's a good example. So I don't think I would make a lot more money. Like if I was to buy a RED right now, right? At this point, I feel like I have, and I was talking to this with a friend today. I think I have everything that I need to continue doing the jobs that I do. Like I don't need absolutely anything else. Mm-hmm. The only reason I continue to buy stuff is to make my job more efficient for myself. If I was to buy a RED at this point, I don't think that I can put my prices higher. The only difference that would do is maybe open up other opportunities of different jobs, right? And that way, obviously, you would make money, and that would justify the purchase of the Red. But I don't think I can add too much more value there. However, now put myself when I first started, I was shooting on the Canon T3i, right? Or anybody starting. Let's say you were shooting on an A6300. If I jump from the A6300 to a Red, right? I think that there's a bigger margin to be had there in terms of your value, but still not more than the experience that you're providing, that you're bringing to the table. So, it's funny because I got the A6300 and I was working at Noiseworks at the time where I had a Red accessible to me and I can use it for any project I want. I was shooting on the Red Dragon the entire time for like 2 years that I was there. I was charging the same thing shooting on the A6300, delivering the same kind of projects, the same exact thing. And basically every project that I was shooting, I would only use the A6300 and the camera would pay itself like twice every single project that I did. It's so funny. Like so that's the point that I'm trying to make. So it's really the experience, the knowledge that you have, what you're really bringing to the table, how well, the value of your production is really what matters. So if you're experienced in audio, make sure your audio is on point. The more you learn, the better, the nicer your productions are going to sound. Lighting, it's a huge thing. The better your lighting looks, your cinematography looks, the more value that brings to your projects. So, I'm doing projects where my clients literally thought I'm shooting on Red, but in reality, I was just shooting on my A6300. And so it's really I would say more so the experience and the knowledge that you bring to the table is really where you can really put the value in your work more than your gear. So yeah, I just went off on that.
He wrote something. Dean Christie wrote afterwards. Let me rephrase. How do you find ways to increase what your clients are willing to spend? I don't
that you can't do that for
that's possible. Yeah, they have their budget.
Yeah,
and they're not gonna say, oh yeah, you're so good, we're gonna spend twice.
Yeah, no client does that.
They have their numbers, and that's pretty much where it's at. Now they'll try to talk you down, so you can try to stay firm on prices, but I don't know that you can get them to spend more than they want to.
Yeah. Usually I try the line like, a potential client would contact me and they say, hey, our budget is this. And it might be just shy of where my rate is. And I'll say, hey, can you meet me over here? And I'll phrase it that way. So for example, my half day rate is $850 and my client says, hey, we have a budget of $500 for a half day. And I'll say, hey, can you meet me at $850? Would that be cool? And you'd be surprised. Most of the time they meet me at $850 or we'll negotiate. Maybe they'll say, hey, can we do $700?
Right.
And I'm like, all right, fine. We'll do $700, that's a way of increasing their budget slightly, but I guess is the way that you phrase it. I don't know. I feel like if you come off nice about it, like, hey, can you meet me at $850 or can you meet me at whatever your budget is, whatever you evaluate yourself at.
Yeah.
I think that's a good way to approach it. But yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Like clients usually have a set budget. Sometimes they're very strict on it. Sometimes they're kind of loose on it. They're just, they kind of don't want to spend more, but they could. So I guess it
really depends on them, on the client themselves, for sure.
Yeah. So
he also, I gotta go one more. Dean Christie said, rocking the T3i T4i combo till the A7S3 drops.
Yes.
he's on your train.
Come on, son. Yeah. Come on. I'm waiting for that. I'm rolling the dice over there at NAB. By the way, so we mentioned in our last podcast, we're both going to be at NAB. We'd love to hang out with you guys. We'd love to meet you. If anybody here is going to be at NAB, reach out to us. Send us an email, iFilmmaker podcast @gmail.com. Send us an email. We want to meet you guys. We're going to be there. And follow us on social media. Mine is at arielmartinez.tv. Mr. Ceratelli is at Jersey Filmmaker. Follow us there. We're going to obviously be all over social media during that time, before that time, on our stories, on our regular post. Make sure you follow us because we will be doing a good, cool meet and greet. We're going to be out there.
Yeah, we should set a time, see if anyone wants to like just put up a time like we'll be in this
Yeah.
area, because we're going to be all over the place, but it'd be nice if you knew where we might be at a certain
Yeah,
day.
so
We'll
I
figure
think,
that out.
yeah, we're gonna put that together. I'm actually talking to other people that I'm actually gonna meet out there, like Chris Ray. I had him on the podcast. He's gonna
Okay.
be out there for one day. I've never met him in person, so it's gonna be really cool. I would like to get everybody that I know I'm gonna see there. We could all find one place, one time we're gonna meet, and we'll just blast that out. So stay tuned for that, guys.
Yeah, maybe we could do it right around when I'm speaking for ICANN.
Oh snap! I forgot about that.
So for those who don't know, I'm speaking for ICANN Monday through Wednesday, 3 to 3:30 at their booth, which I don't know the number off the top of my head, but we'll put that in the show notes.
Yeah.
Just speaking on some of the projects we did, Zion. I'm speaking more so on the equipment we used, but we used some of it on Zion. They sent me some stuff to test out, so I'm going to be speaking about that stuff. So just a nice little quick half-hour thing each day. You can come on over there to see. I'll definitely be there. I'm sure Ariel will be there a time or two. So you come see us there too.
I'm gonna be your groupie there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be shooting a little bit some BTS there. So nice. the ICANN booth is gonna be C10919.
Got it.
So C10919. We'll have that on the iFilmmaker website. Go to iFilmmakerpodcast.com and we'll put that there. We had an interesting comment. Hold on, let me pull up the comments again. I saw Kinfinity in there, so I kind of got interested there. So Bobby Hicks is asking, off topic, but I'd love to hear you guys talk about the Kinfinity Terra 4K 6K. Some serious magic for the price, and Philip Bloom did a great job reviewing it. Philip Bloom is awesome. I love Philip Bloom. I don't know how he finds time to do all this stuff. Man, that guy's a G with that stuff.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, the Kinfinity. I've been looking at the Kinfinity camera for so long. It's been like at least 2 years since I've heard of it. It's so interesting. Like it has like the specs of a Red, almost identical. But the price of a Ursa Mini.
Yep.
It's pretty incredible, you know. And it's modular, so that's pretty cool. You could change the mount from PL to EF to E mount to whatever you want. And
can you change it, or are there adapters?
It comes with adapters. So it's specifically, you can you could put whatever adapter you want to use for whatever lens you want to use.
Native mount is a Kina mount. Why would they do that?
I don't know. But it's interchangeable. You could change it.
Yeah, I know. But why wouldn't they just? I mean, yeah, it works. I don't know what I'm saying, but
and I'm pretty sure I might be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure that the adapters do transfer the electronics.
Sure.
I might be wrong.
I want
to say yes. I think I remember a yes on that.
Maybe Bobby Hicks. I'm just looking up a picture, and like right on the front, you can see. I guess I would hope that the adapter touches those little electronic bars on the top. I don't know if you have a picture up, but there's like those dotted things that transfer all the electronics. You would think the adapter would touch that. There's like this half ring or quarter, more like an eighth ring of those little dotted electronic signal senders. Let's call them that. Electronic.
You're doing a great job of describing it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at it. It's easier. Just everyone look at it, right?
Everybody just look at it right now. Let me see.
But I would think the adapters would touch that and send them. You would think.
Right.
I don't know why that's there. I mean, because the lens would be sitting there, so you would think the adapter would sit there and hit those things.
This thing is so small. I think it's even smaller than a Red.
It could be. I really don't know much about them. I mean, I've heard about them, but I just don't know. Anything.
It's so similar. Like, yeah, I've been looking at these cameras for a while.
Well, if we're gonna do a review, like, yes, I'm definitely gonna have to. He says, get on it. Yeah, I have to look at it and get on it a little more before we talk about it, or before I talk about it, anyways.
Yeah, that'd be cool. The KRW codec. It seems like that's their version of RAW.
Sure.
So it's they shoot ProRes and RAW, but their RAW files are called KRW files, as opposed to Red being R3D files. It has that 4K wide, 4K regular, 4K HD wide. Like I'm telling you, these are very similar specs to a Red.
Mm-hmm.
This is 4K wide, up to 100 frames per second. Come on. Sounds really, really nice. Sounds really, really nice.
Look into it. All right, man. Are we about to wrap this up? I gotta get to these edits.
I think it's about that time.
But this was a great break, man. I always, even like getting into this, I was like, man, we gotta get one of these done. And it's just like, I got so much to do. Should I do it? But it's just a nice break because I get wrapped up in those things and forget what time it is. So love getting on here, man.
For sure, dude. It sounds better in that apartment. Like there's not as much. It's not as much echo as your other apartment.
Good. It's weird. It's bigger, but there's a lot of brick and wood. It's like loft style. So
nice.
Hopefully that's deadening everything. Nice.
No, it's nice. It sounds good. All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and sign off on this one. Thank you everyone that joined us live. And just for those of you that are not listening live, just a reminder, we have a YouTube channel. Go ahead and subscribe there. That is where we broadcast all of our podcasts live. You guys can join the conversation just like these guys did today. Thank you guys for joining us live and basically derailing us like it was mentioned earlier. You can come and watch us live. Mr. Cervatelli and his beard is becoming more and more majestic each and every episode. So check that out. We're also on Facebook at iFilmmaker Podcast. Check us out. Go to iFilmmakerPodcast.com. We have all the information, everything we talked about today, and then some. So I think that's good. Hope to see you guys at NAB. Anyone? Check us out.
We'll probably get one more in before NAB, right? We have another week.
I believe so.
Yeah.
And maybe
we do one from NAB.
Hey, there we go.
I like that.
All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and sign off on this episode. Mr. Cervatelli. This is episode 91. We're getting to close to 100. So
92. Cool. 91, 92.
92, sorry. Ooh. This is episode 92.
All right, man.
G status. All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one. See ya.
Later.